on today. Don't mind me. Stay up. Thank you. To discuss, I mean, what do we always discuss? Healing, life, and we sometimes do readings and such. So, grab a drink, grab a snack, get comfortable. I have notes today. For those who are new, thank you for joining in. For those who have been with me, it's good to have you back. I'm Samantha, and I'm the owner of Soul Pathways, and I'm somebody who wants to help everybody. My whole channel is just based on that, helping people. Helping your soul, helping you find your highest self and get to your highest timeline and how. So by helping you learn to heal yourself energetically, any blocks there and in the physical, because once you remove those energetic blocks, it will remove blocks in the physical, and then you begin to ascend to your highest timeline. We do that through shadow work, healing from things that are traumatic in our lives, through belief systems set forth, through reprogramming of ourselves, our minds, our thoughts, how we respond, and how we think about things in the world at large. But, you know, I'm doing that because that's my sole purpose. But, moreover, I've got a lot to share. I'm somebody who's might not look like much, you know, on the outside, but I'm somebody who's been through quite a lot of things. More than most, I think is a fair assessment. And the things that I have to deal with on a day-to-day basis point to the fact that, yeah, I'm on the right path. I learned long ago that it wasn't too long ago. I learned some time back, within the last couple of years, that if you don't have people jealous, envious, if there isn't people in your business trying to disrupt you, then you're not on the right path. Because typically when these things are happening to you, they're there because your soul is being tested. They're putting forth challenges. So that must have been the case for me practically my whole life. If not, I'd have to say my whole life. I'm 50 this year, that I'm aware of, because I mean I'm literally stumbling through and finding out that who I thought was my birth family may not be actually my birth family. And I'm trying to get to the bottom of that. So, yeah. Nevertheless, my purpose in life is to use the things that I went through, the traumas that I've healed, to help you rise. And just by coming on here and sharing with you every few days or whatever the things that I'm going through as well, because I'm currently still in process. We're always going to be in process, folks. I need you to know that this is not, it's not linear like this ruler. You don't start here and then just, okay, now I'm here and I've made it. It's more cyclical. Because sometimes, you know, kind of like this plate, you might start here and then wind up having to go back and then forward a few and then back and then forward, but you wind up right back there. Have you ever noticed patterns in life, even regarding small things, big things, like clothing, how cyclical. It'll go away, but then it somehow gets reinvented and comes back, or anything, you know, because we're constantly upgrading things and changing things, you know. How bell bottoms became boot cut jeans, right? I mean, come on, must be real. Then, you know, we have lots of different, and you could even use that in, like, technology, too. I mean, constantly spiraling, but it never really goes away. That's the thing with healing. You might start, you know, here, where my finger is, and heal something, but you're gonna, depending on, because everybody's unique on how you handle things. I am somebody who subjectively so believes that healing is ongoing and always there. The potential of fully healing a wound, I think, truly depends on the person, especially core wounds. And I'm not saying that leaves you damaged or anything, no. And here's the thing, I don't see damage as bad. I don't even like to call it damage. Like, I just heard somebody say damaged goods. No, because that would mean we're all damaged. Because there's no way you're on Earth and not. Just look outside your window. I mean, for real. If that were the case, the moment I was born, I came into this world damaged. Or the moment I entered this world, I was damaged. The very moment I came in, I received immediate wounding. Rejection from my mother and abandonment from my father. Those are my immediate two wounds from the family that raised me. And then if I have prior family, there would be wounding there, abandonment and rejection from them, as well as other core wounds. So, because if they gave me away, or I got rid of me, or however you want to think about this, you can only imagine how that would affect an infant from birth moving forward, and then how that secret was held. I was never told about it, and things like that. That would make me damaged, but I don't feel damaged. I feel empowered. See how you can take something and flip it on its head just by the way you think about things. Perspective is key, and your awareness is key, and having a relationship with something higher that keeps you going, having faith and having hope and knowing that you matter is important. And that's what this channel is about. It's about self-love. It's about loving you because you matter. A lot of healing comes through that alone. And if anything, that's the core of healing. It's learning to come back home, not a physical home, home to yourself, home to your higher power, your highest self, to who you are, to learning to love everything about you, including the brokenness, the things we consider wrong, broken, damaged, blights, flaws, imperfections by societal standards, familial standards, even our own. But where did we learn all that? We learn that from these other entities, the family, society, community, friendship groups at large. So whatever we believe, we have attained outwardly and brought it in. We weren't born this way. We were born perfect. True facts. It's like we're born a complete puzzle. And then when we come in, it's like the world's like, no, there's something wrong here. And then they start taking apart the puzzle and rearranging it, shoving pieces where they don't belong or taking pieces out completely. Some people just take that puzzle and they mess it all up and then they give it away. That's kind of like what happened to me. They're like, oh, yeah, no, we don't want that. And you see how I referred to myself as a that? Can you imagine how damaging being referred to as a that is? Or being ignored completely, being made to feel invisible, like you didn't even matter in this world? I have spent a long time in that role. The invisibility role, I got good at living there. But there's a flip side. It's like Cinderella, You, because of your perspective and relationship with something more, you learn to take what you're given and see the good within it. I began to really become good at loving even the ickiest. I became good at understanding things that possibly people wouldn't understand, holding space and grace for things that people are like, how the heck can you do that? Just call it luck? I'm not sure. It's part of my journey. I'll have to sit with that one. I'm just being honest. It's not like I've sat down and really pondered on it a whole bunch. I'm just starting this journey here with you. So if you really want to know the answers, it's something I'm still working out myself. So as I said, this is a channel all about healing. Because each one of us was born for a reason. You're not brought here to earth for nothingness. If you've been brought to earth, that's because you asked for growth and you were approved for it by your higher power. You don't come to earth school. Confirmation. Birds just went by. That's a messenger. Birds are messengers. Get good at reading the signs, folks. They're all around you. God talks to you, or your higher power talks to you every day in every way. Conversations. The outward world is a reflection of your inner world, or your inner world is a reflection of the outer world. And when you're talking with the universe, your higher power, whatever that is, it's constantly showing you things. Problem is people don't see the connection. And they don't make the connection through numbers, conversations, animals, weather events, anything going on around you, music, things people are saying. I'm like all ears. I'm like a satellite dish. I am so far in. I'm a multitasker. I'm constantly got things going on, little feelers everywhere, because I'm constantly talking with divine as a prophet and a messenger. Smart bus just went by. Smart move. And then I seen the flag, American flag. And the first word that popped in, independence. But it's also standing alone. Because not many do this. And I know not many do this. But it also brings you freedom by doing this. Secondary message. So if you want to learn how to do this, I'd be open to possibly helping others learn how to have conversations with their higher power. Let me know. It's not something you're born knowing how to do. And many of us, we hear from people, everybody has psychic gifts. I'm gonna say 1644 on my timer, which is 744. 7 is my number of divine. 777, this is my divine barcode. He's created me one of a kind. I am one of a kind. I'm going to tell you right now that though that might be true, they lay dormant unless they're approved. Which means only your higher power can gift you these types of gifts. Yeah. So how do we activate them? How do we get going? By connection, through meditation and prayer, cleansing ourselves and getting closer to our higher power. There's another way though. And this one tends to happen for a lot of people more than the first, which I just mentioned. Trauma. Trauma makes you a feeler, and it will bring you closer to your higher power and thus activating your gifts. They're connected. That's how I've been gifted since birth. I've had trauma since birth. Yeah. So, each one of you is born for a reason. You're here for a reason. And it isn't just soul growth, but yes, it is soul growth. It's to figure out who you are and why you're so wonderful. And maybe the lesson is to start acknowledging that you are so wonderful. Maybe you get to meet yourself in this lifetime. Really meet you and fall in love with yourself. I'm telling you, there's nothing better in the world than to have your own back. And not in an egotistical way. In a empowered, loving way that screams, I'm so confident, please don't mess with me. Because I know who I am inside and out. And it's because you've went through things. You've been down so many roads. You've seen so much stuff. And through all of that, you had to learn to love yourself. Otherwise, you'd have been completely alone. And you wouldn't have even been there. You would have been a loss. Because, as I've stated in a couple of my prior videos, self-love is a buffer. It's your suit of armor. It's your protection. It shields you in so many ways. They say, and when it comes to like healing in that, and energy even, that love is like the highest frequency. I agree. A singular frequency, as a singular frequency, not a combined frequency. Because like affections are affection in and of itself is a combined frequency. But when you have core frequencies like love, fear, hate, these are singular strand frequencies. You're strongest on the positive side is love. Self-love is the first thing. I mean, just to see God creating a human being, the very first thing he's going to put in there is love, self-love. Depends on what he's trying to create. Now, I'm not saying that's how he does it. Just when I think of these things, I tend to see very abstract things. I'm very nebulous in my way of thinking, but, you know, I just see him like making batter for a cookie, and you're the cookie. And inside of however he's making you, he's pouring different things, different combinations of what you happen to be. And there's only one of you in this entire universe, not just Earth, universe, one. On this plane, let me make this clear. We do live in a multi-dimensional, multi-planed universe. So I'm just saying, and the sun is coming out, which is confirmation. Okay? And the sun is God. Sun is life bearing. So, and it brings clarity. So the clarity is though I say there's one of you, I mean on this timeline. So at 2214, just to be clear, on this timeline there's only one in all this universe. On this timeline, at this time, you're pretty doggone special, and you're here for a reason. And if you look at the entirety of the universe as a puzzle, each one of us being a piece, it would be incomplete without you in it. That's powerful. And I've been holding that image since I was in my 20s. I've been saying that to my counseling clients. I say it to a lot of different people. Now I'm saying it to you. I need you to understand. I love you. The world loves you. The world needs you. It would be incomplete without you in it. And if God can do the miracles that he's doing, I call him a he, she, it's doing in my life, my higher power, your higher power will do the same and can do the same for you. We're all connected. Energetically speaking, if you think of energy, it's a field, like a field of dandelions, or like it's a field of knit. Think of knitting, how somebody will knit a quilt. It's all one, and the whole vastness of the universe is covered by this. We are all part of this same thing. And I allow for everybody to have their own beliefs. But energy is energy. We cannot disprove. We are all a part of this. People even call what I say omnism, I'm thinking. Omnism? Which is the belief that we're all one. But we are all one. You see? I mean, we are all one. Scientifically speaking, energetically speaking, we all come from the same energy. It's one quilt. We're all in it. We're all made of it. All made of the same ooey gooey energetic stuff. What the difference is where we land physically. So some beings landed in completely other planets, even galaxies. They're in different galaxies. We'll have to have the alien talk, the starseed talk. I'm a starseed. My very first incarnation, Pleiadian. I know that. I'm not I'm not a firstborn human. I'm ancient soul. My first incarnation, I happen to know it. It's in Akasha, my very first. I was Pleiadian, and I was born before humans existed. Before Jesus. Because that's human. But I wasn't human. You see? I've had multiple lives as different starseeds, as have many of you, but you don't remember, and there's a purpose for that too. Because it plays a role. But if you're here and hearing this, you're here and hearing this for a reason. There's a reason behind it. And only you will know that reason. And you're either going to come to understanding why, or you might already have a potent feeling inside you, in your gut, or in your heart. You know, one of your chakras is lighting up, if not all of them. Because you're like, yeah! You're either yeah, or you're like, that's bullshit. I mean, one of the two, right? You might be somewhere in between. You might not be like, that's bullshit. But you know what I'm saying. Don't mind my cussing. I'm a bit of a cusser. I can't help it. But I'll try and... Nevertheless, that's a talk for another day. But, you know, wherever we land as energy, we landed on Earth. Soul contracts, right? That's where we wanted to come. And on Earth, wherever you landed here, then the word socialization comes in. Because we're humanoid. Right? Humans, what's one of the things we know? We're social. We're social beings. Hunters, gatherers. I mean, everybody if you take in history class, one of the things we had to learn about that in history was way back when, some of the very first people in all the whole wide world were hunters and gatherers. Neanderthals and the such, you know? Don't mind me. It's just when I think back, you know, that is how it went, though, right? Yeah, it is. It was just affirmed to me. So, and then wherever you land on the latitude and the longitude, that's going to decide your pigment of your skin. Melanin, sun. Are you really getting a lot of sun? Or are you staying lighter? I guarantee if you're lighter, you're north. Or you're very, very south. And if you're darker, you're closer to the equator. But we make a big fuss about all that. And I'm just speaking in science, terms of science. All the fuss comes through the socialization. See, that's the thing I haven't even, the topic I haven't broached. Beyond the science, as a human existence, we created cultures, belief systems within those cultures. Yeah, I mean, we're a social people. And no matter where you're at, it is not uniform. It's not static across Earth, right? I mean, we all know that. We all live in different places, and each place, even if you're in the same country, each place within the country has different beliefs, different ways of being. I mean, I know here in America, we have the South, we have the Midwest, we have the Northeast, we have the Southeast, we have the Northwest, and then we have places like Alaska, they have their own, and Hawaii, they have their own, you know, and then U.S. Virgin Islands, own. So, I mean, each one of these places, though it's America, U.S. territory. I keep hearing Guam, Guam, Guam. So yes, they all have their own identity and their own way of being just through socialization. Wherever we landed, it's like we became a village, and in that village we created laws, we created, whatever. We created a structure, a foundation. And it started biblically, because that's when hieroglyphs, and here in America it was with Native Americans. Before even, if you're into history, I am not so much, so I just know that as a Native American, Chippewa Indian myself, Indians were here. It's a whole continent. How could this whole area be void? It's not. We had Eskimos, we have Indians, and it goes all the way down to Mexico. I mean, Indians all throughout. Into South America. I mean, across the Panama Canal, down. But we tend to be different based upon where we're at and how we're socialized. And to me, that structuring is relevant because it's human-made. Therefore, it's not permanent. It can be reclassified. And that's beautiful. And I'm getting chills up my body. Here's what can't be. The energy. We are all the same energy. But here's what you can do with energy. You can shift it too. Through your belief systems. How you think about things. So, we attract in, what can we say about energy? Yeah. Energy is, I just heard, energy is energy. Yes, it is. Energy is energy. But energy is not just energy. I'll just use examples. Water is an energy. Water. We are almost 80% water. Why do you think we're so feeling, energetic? We can feel. We call it empathic, intuitive, da-da-da-da-da. Now, when I speak to psychic gifts, I am now talking energetic chakra system alignment. I am not talking the empathy that's brought in through cell memories, and I'm talking much deeper, DNA, chakra, energetic alignment. This is well beyond just the significant water value. These are two separate entities in my mind. I'm now parsing out these things, because somebody can be intuitive and empathetic, but yet not be psychic and have any of the gifts that God gave you, which isn't neither here nor there. They're just two separate things. Perhaps that person doesn't want them, if they wanted them, the key to getting them is to get closer to your divine, whatever that higher power is for you. That or don't mind my crazy, it's not really funny, but in a roundabout way for somebody who's been down the path. I mean, that or get traumatized. I mean, be traumatized, because this is how we grow. Those are our paths. And most people aren't aware enough to take the first path. I'll say I wasn't. I'll be the first to admit, I was not aware enough. I was a sleeping duck on my spiritual journey. I just knew and I share with you openly that, yeah, there was something more. I called it God because I was raised in a Baptist family. I also saw other things. I saw dead people, dead things. I saw demons. I saw spirits. I saw things. I knew things. Had crazy feelings, and I got made fun of it. I got made fun for it. Yeah. I know my nickname growing up. My mom had bought me a series of children's books. I have a few of them still left, but one of the characters, the main characters, it was a series of like 26 of them. And I don't remember. I would have to look them up, and maybe I will. But one of the main characters, they were all books based on the main character. All the characters were animals. I mean, they made the animals into people. You know how some in children books, the people are animals. Well, in these books, that's what it was. So one of the main characters' name was Worry Walrus. That's what they called me. My mother, should I say. And it just stuck. And then, over time, I became Eeyore. Let's see how that... it should show you how I became socialized to be more pessimistic rather than optimistic. Right there. It should show you where, not that they're bad. This is not bad nor good, so don't take that. But it shows you where the parents who raised me were, and their thinking about my gifts, my feeling side. I was, and most people would refer to me as the black sheep. I refer to myself as a unicorn, because there's a distinct difference between black sheep and unicorns. Awareness. And I'll admit, I started off as a black sheep, but I became a unicorn. You become unicorns. You start off as a black sheep. When you know you're different, but you don't quite know why, and you don't feel empowered by it, and you're trying to blend, and you're like, if I just shut up and shut down, maybe I'll blend better. Right? That's a black sheep. But a unicorn is piped up. A unicorn says, heck no, I'm here to shine. I'm a star. I'm supposed to be creating a path right here where this tall grass is. It's called off the beaten path. I'm creating a new path. That's what I am. I'm somebody who others would refer to as a rebel, obstinate, somebody set in her ways. These are things I've been called my whole... Stubborn. Doesn't work well with others sometimes. Doesn't always obey authority figures all the time. Free thinker. Speaks her mind. No, I'm a truth speaker. These aren't all things that I had the whole time. I had to. It was a series of growth. Like I said, this is Earth. It was growth that I learned through lessons with my higher power. And I came into it. You don't just have it one day. No. You level up into it. It's ascension. But you become a unicorn. And I recently, I'm going to say recently because 50 years, we're looking at a 50-year span, only recently became a unicorn. I was getting close in my 30s. I hit unicorn status in my 40s. I'm 49, about to be 50, so I haven't been a unicorn long, but long enough, I just heard. For an ancient soul, it took me a long time, but that's because I'm a slow mover. And for some, for some, the understanding is this. I went slow in the beginning because I didn't know what the heck was going on. I was asleep. So, yeah, I was probably going slow because I was going in circles. I had no idea what I was doing. I was probably repeating lessons and everything because of my lack of awareness. And the people that were working against me. See, the second part of the whole birth thing, if my true birth family, if my understanding of what's going on with my real birth family is true, they spent their entire life making sure I didn't remember who I was. See, as you become more aware, you become more aware. And if you know, you know. That's a hard one to explain. See, your eyes, they become very open, and you see things for possibly the very first time. And sometimes it's hard. It's hard to see it. It's hard. For me, I think the most heartbreaking thing was when my dad, God, I refer to God as my dad because I don't have a family. He's my family. My dad opened my eyes to several years, 2 years, I think it was 2. Opened my eyes to how humanity is, or becoming what it's becoming, and why I'm here. Now, for somebody who's love incarnate earth angel, who's here to spread love and help others heal through the power of love, I've always had the belief that we're born good, and we are. But I was naive to think that all people were good like me. That was a hard lesson to learn. It was a painful lesson to learn. In this world, you'll find you can only change yourself. You can't change others. You can't control others. And how do we do that? By changing ourselves, reprogramming our thoughts, working on our diet, working on our belief systems, how we do things, cutting out our addictions and our habits, or changing them to make them more positive. Because what I said earlier stands. Your life is a reflection of the outer world, your inner life and your outer life. How you handle your day-to-day in yourself brings in, it magnetically attracts into you the world you live in. Two years ago, that's about when I started waking up to the fact that I was being gang stalked. And before that, I always was somebody who believed people were good, kind, and loving. I will say and admit openly, my discernment level was not nearly what it should have been. I accepted a lot I shouldn't have, more than my fair share. I felt I was constantly making concessions and sacrifices for those around me, strangers and family, friends. And that always lessened the quality of my life. But it was part of my journey. But it was very hard. Well, 2 years ago, it was flipped. I'll never forget the night, with the door dashing, because I'm coming out the other side of the gang stalking. I'm closing that cycle. I think it's closed, but we've got a straggler or two. I don't think spiritual warfare ever ends, folks. I'm a chosen one of the 144. And I'll admit, we bring into our world things, but when it comes to spiritual warfare, I'm sorry. This has nothing to do with spiritual law. Why? God created the universe. There's exceptions to every rule. And I'm gotten the chills. So that confirmed, and it was 4709, now it's 4711, which is 1111. When it comes to your higher power, and if you happen to really know that you are somebody who's deeply spiritual, deeply committed to your faith, and you're protected by God, and you know, you've seen evidence, you talk with God, you've seen evidence of your protection, you talk with God, you've been through things that you just don't even know how you made it through, then this message is for you. You didn't attract that in. The law of attraction would state that you attracted these things in. And for a minute, I was of that belief. But when it comes to spiritual warfare, what I can say here, how did you attract this in? You chose to follow your divine highest path. And that invited all of us. And that's it. That is how you open the gate to everything else. And now my crown chakra's tingling all the way down through my knees into my feet. This is my system. My chakra system is how spirit talks to me. My ancestors also talk to me. The angels, I have Archangel here, Gabriel, Michael, they're both here, and divine. I also have Mother here, Divine Mother. So, the spiritual laws that the universe is founded on scientifically are expressed outward through all topics. But when it comes to spirituality, you cannot even remotely begin to cover the topic of God, Creator, through science, because God, the Creator, whatever your higher power is, also created the science we're trying to use to explain Him, or it. Which means God, the Creator, can take science away or create a loophole or whatever, and is doing things every day to amaze this world and shift it and change it, because I heard I love you and I want to save you. Earth isn't on a very good path right now, vibrationally speaking, energetically speaking. And that's why so many chosen are here. So many light workers are here. And this whole talk of shifting from 3D to 4D to 5D is true. The heaven on earth concept, true. Here's what people don't understand. These are not physical things. These are energetic values. Earlier I spoke to dimensions and planes of existence. When you meditate or you pray, do you truly believe you're still here? Or do you actually transcend to connect with your higher power? Do you think there's a telephone cord right through your chakra, upward? Energy flows to you and through you. And that is how you have conversations with God, through your senses, but there are further senses most don't have, because they don't talk with God enough to develop them. Whatever your higher power is, at some point people who are on the channel are gonna understand that that's what I mean. Nevertheless, you know, healing, which is what this channel is about, it starts with you. And it starts with that connection with divine. It's one of the very first things you need to move forward on your healing journey. It's hard to heal yourself when you don't have a connection with something higher. Even weight loss. Even if you're trying to heal your financial picture or your, this could be physical. You're looking at somebody who's done all of that. And I'm working on my financial again. Because of the gang stalking. My whole life, I'm now told I've been going through this my whole life. I just did not see it because I was asleep. And they did that on purpose, as I've expressed. But when I began to wake up due to all the traumas I was going through, I began to see it. So, when you see something, you can't unsee it. When you start to awaken and heal, you're going to start seeing things like magic, UFOs, the Matrix, all things we think is, when you're asleep, you think these people that talk about that stuff are crazy. I know, I've been there. I'm like, yeah, that's crazy. These people need to go to the fucking mental ward. Excuse my language. They need to be put into the crazy house. This is what I'm thinking when I was asleep. But then I became that person. And rightly so. Because now it's like the movie The Matrix, which I now know for a fact is based on a true story. It's like you wake up and you see things. You see the patterns. You start seeing things that you can't unsee. You become aware enough of things that you cannot see. It almost makes you question, and for a while you will. You'll be like, am I crazy? No, I'm not crazy. No, you're not. You are seeing what you're seeing, and it is real. I'll validate that. Because you're not alone either. There are a group of people in the same boat. You just need to find them, and you found one in me. The sheer fact that I'm back on social media, because it speaks volumes of my healing journey. Because the gang stalkers, they're aware too. They work through God's opposition, or the higher power's opposition. Who would that be? The devil. I'm not saying the devil's stupid. No, quite the opposite. The devil knows things too. God created the devil. When the gang stalking came in, it broke my heart, because that's when I began getting harassed, and the point of the stalking is to do me harm mentally, physically, and emotionally. Gang stalking is a horrific event to go through. If I did not have God, I would not be here, hands down. I'm going to repeat that. If I didn't have my father, if I did not have my dad, if I did not have God, I know for a fact I'd be dead. I'd be unalived. I wouldn't be here. And that's the point of targeted gang stalking. When people see you as a threat to the way civilization runs, that's when you start getting gang stalked. Point blank, period. It's either that, or you got people with a lot of money. And I do mean a lot. And you got a lot of people with a lot of money in the same corrupt unit working together against you. And their point is to harm you. Spiritual warfare. Gang stalking comes with spiritual warfare. And most chosen children of God go through gang stalking. It will affect every part of your life, from finances to your relationships. Typically, you'll find you lose everything. Like everything. I mean everything. You lose your parents, your siblings, your love life, your job. You might lose your car, your home, your children, because there are lessons. It's pruning. It's, trust me, when God allows, because God allows it to happen, it's to get you prepared for something magnificent. But He needs you to be prepared. And usually it doesn't happen to every single person. But those it does, know that you're most likely a warrior. I know I am. And you've been a warrior for God before. And you're an earth angel. If you're being gang stalked, you have past lives. I'm here as a leader. I'm rather humble. I never said I wanted to be a leader, but I'm told I'm to be a leader. And I accept that role. The gang stalking broke me all the way down, only to rebuild me all the way back up into something new. And everybody's going to have different opinions about what that is. Here's the thing. I don't really care what everybody thinks about me. And neither should you. Neither should you. You shouldn't care what they're thinking about you, is what I'm trying to say. Other people's opinions of you matter not. We always worry about what others think, how others feel, because we're social as humanoids. I'm the least social, probably, person ever, and that's by choice. I've always been somebody who's cool being alone. Always. Since day one. When my mom wouldn't hold me and my father wasn't around, I was alone in my crib crying. But I had God and my angels and my ancestors. I've always had them. Facts. And so do you. So do you. That's how important you are. The fact of the matter is, I know that some of the people even watching this right now are gang stalkers. And that's cool. Because you're just a human being. Let's take the label off. You're a human being going through things. Right way, wrong way, whatever. Doesn't even matter. You're here to grow. And I hope, actually I already know you're getting something here. You don't ever have to give kudos. I'm not the type to search for it anyways. I validate myself and I get it through God. But I want to say, for those who have been activated to actually take and make changes in their lives for the better, I'm proud of you. It takes a lot of courage to do that. I'm really proud of you. And I can set all these differences and everything aside and say from one human to another, from one soul to another even, that I love you and I wish you all the best on your journey moving forward, because I want you to succeed. I really do. I want all of us to succeed. Why? We all affect each other. Back to the energetic quilt. As one succeeds, that energy pulsates throughout the quilt, like when we throw a rock in the water and the water ripples outward, hits the edge of that pond and then comes back kind of like a tsunami. That's energy too. Energy is kind of like water and how it will take on the vibrations of something positive or negative. So as you grow and change into something better, you are uplifting humanity by doing that. I'm really proud of you for that. Because for some of you it wasn't easy, even dangerous to do. And trust me, I understand danger. I do. I want you to know If you found yourself in that situation, you're not alone. You are being protected. Not everybody has the protection. Some of you have lost complete protection, but some of you have not, and you know who you are. I know it's triggering with me, because I was supposed to be an easy target. A lot of assumptions were made against me, about me. And then through socialization, the whole idea that I didn't deserve to be loved or treated well became a thing. Ideas like that are founded out of fear. Period. And I don't live in that reality, because there's nothing to fear when you walk with your higher power. And you love yourself, and you just know, like you know, everything's gonna be okay. And if it's not okay, then it's not the end. But a way is always made for those who believe, who stay the course. And keep taking care of themselves. We have a lunar eclipse coming up with a new moon. We're on the precipice of change. Again, with the solar eclipse behind us. This was more action-oriented, the solar eclipse. This new moon and the lunar eclipse is going to be more about, I'm not saying there won't be action, but it's going to be more about emotions and nurturing, or things coming out that were hidden before. That'll be the action. Learning new things, moving forward and healing things. So I'm hearing like eruptions. Things that were dormant are going to awaken and erupt. Secrets exploding outward. This is going to be globally. If they're not already starting to, they're going to. Amongst every group of human beings. It doesn't matter what your ranking is or what your label is. Every government, every politician, from state to federal, it doesn't matter what country, doesn't, high profile person to somebody who would be dubbed nobody. Me. I was dubbed nobody. In fact, I have people out there that still dub me as nobody, and they're completely wrong. Because God doesn't create nobodies. Ever. Ever. And if he does create somebody who has an idea like that, it's because they're here to learn this fact, that they are somebody. That God doesn't create nobodies. Confirmation. I'm getting chills through my legs at 10:38. So, with this new moon, new starts. Around information coming out, and it's going to be swift. Some of it's very much going to be swift. This is prophetic. I just was told. This eclipse information. This will affect everybody on planet Earth. At least, if the entire universe. Just handled differently across. The negative energies are going to hit their peak and wind down now for the group at hand. Because like I said, things are cyclical. Like that plate I showed you in the beginning with healing. This will not be the only group of gang stalkers. But it's this group. For this set. And if you know, you know. So at the eclipse, you're going to find out things. You're going to find, if you've already found out things, that you're nurturing yourself. There could be lots of self-care going on, or nurturing something new. Some of you could become mothers, or have just recently, so you're honing those skill sets. New relationships popping in with the new moon, or new I heard entities, but what I'm thinking is meant by that is like business entities, like new businesses popping up, new contractual agreements, commitments, ideas to replace old. As one format is being deconstructed, a new is replacing it. Speaking of puzzles, this eclipse is just another event that's going to take more pieces away from that puzzle of deconstruction. It is almost complete. It should be complete. I heard solstice, so maybe it's spring? The solstice? Spring? Because I'm getting spring. And then I heard solstice. Heading into spring, then definitely into summer, new ways of being, new things coming forward for everybody. On all fronts. Personal, business, professional, on a government stage. You name it. confirmation. I just heard a beep. Was that just one that was shared with me, or did that happen? I'll have to listen back. Okay, there it goes again, so maybe. And that's a gang stalker, just so you know. Out there honking their horn because they're constantly listening in. My phone's tapped. As is my room. There's no other way for them to know things about me that they know. They even know things about my physical body and how that's even remotely possible without physically seeing me. I'm still learning, so this is the only way I can think to address that. And it's illegal. I mean, you've broken every amendment, my personal rights, my privacy. Because of what? Because I have a relationship with God that you feel entitled to breach. And that's where we are, folks, in this state. This is where we are in humanity. And that's why people like me, chosen earth angels, are being brought in. Because it's wrong. We don't treat human beings this way. It's just, there's a better way to do this. A more civil way. Treating people lesser than is not the way to go. What is it? You get more flies with honey than vinegar, or you get more bees with honey than vinegar, something like that. It's true. You are not going to get anywhere being completely an a-hole 24/7 with somebody. But I think that the thing is you didn't expect me to be me. You expected me to be a nobody, and then I'd be unalived, and you wouldn't have to worry about it. But then I wound up being me. And I'm not really. I'm just... It's like this is God speaking. Not that I'm God. I know for a fact I'm not. But I am His voice. Let's be clear. When you fight me, you are fighting Him. And He can do things in you, in your life, that you will never come back from. He made you. Don't you think He can unmake you? He made humans. He made everything. What do you think something with that much power could do? With all the power. That's my boss. That's my dad. And a lot of you have effed around and found out. Because you didn't believe. And not just with me, with other chosens across the world who had the misfortune of handling a chosen child the wrong way and then not listening or believing. I come in peace. But I was brought into this war. So I'm going to end it. And I told you when I started, when I became aware that I was put here, and I knew I couldn't back away, that I was fated to win. And that's exactly what it will be, and is, It is. It's already one in spirit. Why? Because God said so. That's why. I don't need more than that. It's on my contract. So, and this is all healing, things I'm going to have to go through. Now that I brought that up, you know, there's a healing concept to it too, as a humanoid, as a human. Because all of this MK Ultra and things like that, that were supposed to mess with me and didn't, because I'm an earth angel. But anybody else sure would have. I know you probably hate the fact that you... And here's the thing that I don't understand. If you knew from my birth that I was chosen, why did you let me live then? And that's only in one picture. That's if I was born within that family. The second thought is that my mother actually had stepped out and slept with somebody outside of my father. That's a high degree of possibility. Because that would definitely insinuate that my family is involved. Maybe not because they wanted to be, but because they needed the money, or because they are involved. But I just do not see that with my family. They're karmic, yeah, but again, I'm gonna just have to say here that I'm still learning on this subject, so literally very new one in terms of a year or two, and not having the resources to appropriately look into it yet, but it's coming. And when I do, which I will, things will be found out, and I will be making moves. Facts. I don't say anything that I don't follow through with. And the only way I don't follow through is if Divine tells me not to. The healing concept that's going to come along with this kind of... you could even take gang stalking and twist it and just call it bullying. How do we handle bullying? Counseling. Yeah, we talk about it. But I go a little further than that, because this is where spiritual laws tie in. And it's why, in part, I didn't want to just be a counselor. The more you talk about something and focus on it, the more you bring it to you. Oh, no duh. So I'm not saying go around and talk about your bullying experiences 24/7. What I am saying is you can acknowledge these things, because I wouldn't disregard it either. You've got to get it out from your membrane, which is 80% water. See, it's tied in with your physical health, absolutely tied in. We become sick the very moment we do not do healing work when it comes to trauma. Even little bit. I'll tell you right now. And Anybody got the, anybody, because I know everybody watching is not divine. And trust me, that's not a cut down. I've been karmic. It's like a process. You go through, and it's just a label, okay? And I've noticed humans love labels. Before divine is karmic, and it just says I'm where I'm at because I'm still learning lessons. Whoop-de-doo. And then you're going to become divine, and your lessons get harder. So, yay. But you're more aware too, so it's not like you're not more prepped. You've leveled up, but jeez. Yeah, bring it in. Sorry. I'm getting chest pain that's not my own. Return to sender. Oh, okay. That could be, that's my divine popping in. Now it popped out. I don't know that a gang stalker would, but they might while I'm recording have enough gall to send that towards me while I'm videoing. But I've had strange things happen while I'm video. Oh yeah. Okay. I'm getting hot flashes. We are now joined by my divine masculine. He's here. I'm welcoming him in. Just give me a second. We have a telepathic link. I do not have to talk out loud to speak with him, though I'm sure he hears me. And it will be his call. He's welcome either way. He's a gift to me from divine. So, healing bullying, it happens. I'm at 1:30, so I've been talking for a minute, but I'll say this. All bullying is other people projecting outward their insecurities onto somebody else who they feel because of their low self-esteem or traumas presenting. That's it. That's why bullying occurs. Traumas, lack of self-love, which would equate to low self-esteem, low self-worth, low self-confidence, and then it's masked by arrogance, egotism. It gets very dark. Superiority complexes, control issues, narcissism. We'd love to give it all these different labels and names, but at the base of it is, if you look at every human being, there is a child inside, a little boy, a little girl, and they're wounded. Or it could be a teenager, but many, it stems right into that child. And they need attention. And that's where the healing starts. And that's where you gotta start on your way up. When you want to make changes in your life, it's never out here. It's always right here. You put a mirror in front of you and do some mirror work. And I don't mean spell casting. Use your words to benefit yourself, on yourself, and for yourself. Anything else? I'm sorry, I am surrounded by, we'll just say many. Healing your heart is where you start. And that's how you'll blossom and transform into your highest self. Your heart chakra, energetically speaking. I've spoken on this in other videos, but you would connect with your higher power. That's first. Through that connection, you're going to start learning self-love, self-worth, self-confidence. Because the first thing you do with divine is you get a flashlight and start looking at yourself. And you might even ask him questions. Why is this happening to me? Why is that happening to me? And most likely, divine's going to hand you a flashlight and say, look at you. Everything you need, all these answers you're looking for are inside you. And I'm here to help with that, which is a lot more than I was ever given. I wasn't given any help, okay? So, you do the work of looking, and for each time you find something, whatever that something is, then you gotta stop to heal that. That's why I say this is a forever, a long time. And you're not in a rush. With everything you heal, you become better and better and better, and more aware and aware and aware, right? There's no rush. I have found meditation to be one of my most favorite places to be. I can meditate for hours. It's peaceful. But nevertheless, yeah, I think I'm going to leave it at that at 1:33. They're going to be testing the fire alarms, and they're about to go on and off for the rest of the day till 5. I think I'm going to get this closed out. I just have a severe weather alert too now on my phone. Something about a tornado. So incoming for some of you. Swift, fast changes. This is me telling you. Fire alarm, alarms, bells are letting you know that something big's coming. And then I saw a tornado alert. And now I'm seeing 2 ravens fly by my window. Take from that what you will. I'd Google the meaning of ravens unless you've got one already. Spiritual meaning, that is. Okay? Nevertheless, I want to thank you for joining me. And do note, everything I've said here is just my story. It's my testimony for my life. Yes, I'm a professional. I hold a counseling degree, a master's in alternative medicine and therapies. I'm into alternative healing. I have a certification in life coaching, law of attraction. I'm deeply spiritual. And I have writing certification under my belt as well. But even in saying that, I would say take everything you hear with a grain of salt. I'm going to say it's for entertainment purposes only, of course, because I'm talking on everything here about my experience, mine. So before it gets much louder, I just had to say that. And thank you for coming in. If you need any help, if you want to talk to me about healing work, a session, I do readings as well, tarot, channeling, mediumship. I do all of them. Email me. Email's below. Okay? Otherwise, enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. Thank you for joining me. I love you. I'm rooting for you, and I'm proud of you. All wrapped into one. Know you matter, because you do. You really do. Until next time, take care of yourself and each other.